last left off, you all had sailed back into a burning harbor, which had been your home for an extended period of time. You don't remember much of it. It all happens in a blur, but what you do remember does creep back in dreams and in that space that you stare at for long periods of time as you zone out, as people talk at you, but not to you. You're not there. You're not there after a couple minutes. You're just staring off into space, where that space molds into images of what you've seen. Which is why you have all been shipped back to the States. You've ended up in Oregon, a small town called Townstead, Oregon, where you are the personal guests of the reliquary commander Nix, who has let you his estate. He is not staying with you, but you are under military guard, just some standard GIs to protect you and secure you from any lingering threats that might have followed you all the way across the ocean. It's a small, picturesque town. You have many attractions like the diner, the local theater. The harbor has some nice views, especially in the morning as you watch the sun come over the mountains and light up the waters that extend out into the bay. You also have a couple of restaurants, a bar, even a museum. There's also the graveyard and the general store. You haven't gotten really to know any of the people in town just yet. The mayor's introduced himself as John Drake. He's an old-timer. He's already rambled on about his war stories from the Great War, but you know that he's a kind person. Other than that, the estate, though the picturesqueness is a little underwhelming when you have half a dozen soldiers at all times on the grounds. In the mornings, you can still catch the sun coming over the mountains on one side, and you can also see it reflecting off of the waters at dusk. It's not been easy to forget what happened, though some of you have had it easier than another one of you. Victoria, how have things been for you? How have you been dealing with the traumas that you've endured?
I feel like Victoria has been very distant with anyone that isn't Katie or Mortimer. For Katie and Mortimer, she is very intentional about not letting herself distance from them, from both a mix of paranoia of never seeing them again, and also they're her people, she knows she can trust them. But she doesn't really trust anyone else particularly. She plays along. She isn't hostile, but she's just distant. And she's not always presently in the moment. She spends a lot of time staring off into the distance, and I feel like Katie and Mortimer might be the only ones who put two and two together, that she's gazing in the distance towards a large body of water or where the sea would be.
How has Victoria felt about not hearing those voices in her head anymore?
She's not a fan, because that voice was helpful. It didn't ask anything of her. That voice was helpful. She still doesn't entirely trust that it will never ask anything, but it's weird. I think she still thinks about it a lot.
And how has it affected her that she's now unable to read the tablet she brought back with her?
I think she's tried a couple of times to see if she can tap into that magic, but when it doesn't work, she just kind of puts that thought in a box and is like, we're just not going to worry about that too much, but every once in a while, you'll catch her looking at the tablet or any of the notes we were able to keep from our home, assuming there was anything left, or she might recreate some of the notes. She tries to hide them from the military officials. I'm not sure how well that goes, but there is some stuff that she tries to hide from them.
Katie, you're in the greenhouse at one point. You're tending to some of the roses that you've come to like, and you prick your finger. You see blood coming off your hand. How do you feel about that? It's not the yellow dust that you're used to. It was blood.
She's gonna stare at her thumb for a second, and they're gonna kind of watch as, like, when you prick your thumb, it you just kind of watch it, and it will well up, and it will keep going, and like she'll quickly wipe it on her pants, and then just kind of wait for it to happen again. She, all of them have seen so much. She doesn't know if this is another trick, so she needs to see if it's gonna happen again.
You found a couple of times that you're doing something and you're actually feeling pain instead of just the dullness that it was before. Do you try and summon the sword?
I think if they're alone, yeah, Katie's gonna kind of take a quick look around, make sure Mortimer isn't like lurking around the corner, or Victoria isn't kind of just wandering, and just kind of place a hand on their chest and try and pull it out.
You put your hand where the sword usually comes out, and there's nothing there. But you do feel a void. You feel like something is missing.
Hmm.
Have we hit the Gaslight Gatekeep Cthulhu part of the season?
Perhaps.
I mean, oh, she's just gonna kind of like stare at her empty hand, place it where, because before, I think the way you described it, there wasn't really a heartbeat. And kind of feeling her heartbeat again. They kind of have a very small, little genuine smile tugging at the corner of their lips, feeling a bit hopeful. Like maybe it's over with. Maybe we don't have to worry anymore.
And that feels very real to you because you do feel a heartbeat. You put your hand on your chest and you feel it there. You put your fingers against your throat and you feel the blood pulsing through you.
She kind of will look at the roses. Perhaps we've paid in full.
Mortimer,
Yes.
you find yourself in the wine cellar one night going to pick out a bottle for the group. While you're down there, something strange happens. You turn a corner and you see where there's a keg, there's a small child.
Oh, uh, okay, oh dear, hello? Child? What are you, can I help you? Are you lost?
I'm so sorry. My friends told me if I snuck past the guards and brought something back, they'd buy me food. Uh, I could go to the diner. And they'd pay for it. Uh, I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't be here.
Oh, this is, I understand this is the whole, like the coming of age ritual, children, sure. Let me guess, they told you to come in here, take a bottle of wine or whatever?
Well, the wine was made possibly my idea. I thought that we could all enjoy it and no one would ever have to know we did anything. I'm sorry. And he just kind of falls back against the wall and he puts his hands over his eyes as he realizes he's probably in a lot of trouble.
Calm down. Now, look, I'm not going to give you a bottle of wine. You're a child, and last thing you need is to be getting drunk while, honestly, there is a lot going on right now. Yeah, I don't know how your parents would feel if you happened to imbibe and let's say you were shot by one of these, some of the Japanese soldiers, or you step on a landmine because of your intoxication. How do you think they will feel because of that? So, no, I'm not giving you alcohol, but I'm not going to do anything. You're just, it happens. Now,
Should I take the cork off that bottle?
Mortimer just pops the cork and just throws it to him. Fine, you can have the cork, but you're not having alcohol.
Okay.
Talking about landmines, we're in Oregon.
I was just about to say, what sort of war-torn Oregon do you think you're in?
Well, just reading the news and stuff, you know?
Oh, yeah.
We haven't gotten to Red Dawn, Oregon yet.
Oh, wait, shit, yeah, I was saying stepping on landmines. But either way, Mortimer's just like, no booze.
It fits, and the owner could be extremely paranoid. Also, I think we are all very fried and missing a few French fries, so it's okay. I just think it's funny.
All right. You return to the group, and this kid seems to run off. You hear some guards get all chatty about seeing this kid running off. You see them go chase him out. What do you do about it?
Mortimer's just gonna yell at the guards like, "Hey, General, honestly, I think you have. He's just a child. He's not doing anything. I think you have better things to do than that."
You see a couple too far gone, still chasing after him, but some of the others kind of, yeah, I guess he's right. More they're laughing at how these two trained soldiers are getting beat by a small child in a foot race.
Exactly, it's hilarious. It's not that big of a deal. There's other things going on. And now Mortimer's just like, all right. I got the wine now to try to learn anything about magic.
I like this plan. Not sure how our guards are going to feel about this plan, but I like this plan.
Katie is just watching the guards and going, well, typical Americans, always trying to prove themselves, better than... Anywho. But yes.
Honestly, with how much they're chasing after the poor boy, yeah, they must definitely be overcompensating for something.
Oh, certainly.
What Mortimer specifically wants to look up is, are there sigil signs that have power over entities like these type of otherworldly entities?
You go ahead and you place that bottle down in the dining room. Who's cooked dinner tonight?
I was gonna say, Katie can if nobody else is,
I was gonna say, you do not want Mortimer in your kitchen. Mortimer can do it pretty much anything else except cook. You're gonna get burnt toast.
Katie, you've come to the realization that neither of your friends are particularly good at cooking. Your wife can cook some things here and there. Mortimer is a nightmare in the kitchen.
He burnt the coffee.
You've taken upon yourself to this is where I'm at. This is what I can do right now. It's more or less been tranquil for you. You just have your routines. You get up a little earlier. You make some coffee. You put something together. You've got 4 or 5 different cookbooks that you start pulling the recipes out of, and you put the meals to the test. Some of them are garbage. Some of them probably shouldn't have left a test kitchen, but other than that, you have some pretty decent home cooked meals.
Victoria does help, and she is decently good in the kitchen, but since we got here, she's been very easily distracted, but the routine is kind of helping her be a little bit more present, but still maybe she can't get through a whole meal without getting distracted and forgetting what she was doing.
You all gather together for your meal, but you have your books picked out, and the meal is very quiet. You eat and you read. Each of you your own book on lore or magic or just the ways of the folk people, or the newest in science, the newest in oceanography, sonar. It's a lot. But again, most of your days have been quiet. In this house, there is a library, a laboratory, an indoor pool, a greenhouse, a dining hall, the wine cellar, and an observatory. Victoria, where have you found yourself most at peace?
I think she spends a lot of time by the pool, actually.
All right. Do you go swimming?
She goes swimming, she spends time with her feet in the water, because even before she shared brain space with the Elder Ocean guide, Magaru, there has always been something kind of calming about watching the water. It's just calming, familiar, and it's just the simplicity of it. And sometimes her dinner reading, she will intentionally pick something extremely mundane. She may not actually spend a lot of time reading it, but every once in a while, just random mundane topic.
For some reason, The Awakening feels like it's pulling you.
Oh, the one where she goes and just basically walks out into the ocean?
Yes.
I think she gets the subtext of why that draws her, but that is not particularly helpful in this moment. But I think it's like, since the other thing, since her connection with Magaru is gone, it's like she's going through the motions of trying to at least pretend or act normal.
Right.
Or get used to whatever this new reality is.
Katie, where have you found your peace?
I think it's just been in that rose garden. Like, there's something, I think, for Katie, like, feeling kind of like this thing of decay, since most of the times mushrooms are fungus and they tend to grow in decay and things of that nature. There's just something calming about being able to help life move forward, especially after kind of murderizing a lot of people, even if she justifies it to, get back to the people she considers her family.
Have you planted anything there?
I think she started like a little, because she's been cooking so much, just like a tiny little herb garden. Some mint, basil, thyme, oregano, maybe considering a few tomatoes or like a few vegetables when the weather changes and whatnot.
That probably brought you into town to the general store. They sell some seeds there and different herbs.
That sounds about right.
You've met Miss Kathy Barnes. She's the store owner. Her husband owns the local bar, the Smoky Night, but she tends to the general store. She keeps all of her shelves rather nice. She has her own refrigerated section that she maintains rather well, and you can hear the whirring of the machine throughout the day. She's even done this weird thing of putting pop in the refrigerator, but it tastes oh so great after you've had it chilled.
She would probably, if she's at the general store, grab a couple packages of seeds, one or two of the cold sodas, just because, hopefully whoever, if it's, Mortimer or Victoria she finds first, they can at least enjoy it with her, and it should be cold by the time she gets back.
And it typically is. It's a little warmer, but still very tasty. Is that all for you, dearie?
Yes, just a few seeds for the garden. Okay, I know at this time in the US, like, rationing didn't, well, it started to kick off and everything. Would they have chocolate bars?
Yes, she still has a stock of chocolate bars.
Okay, she'll pick up enough for everybody to have their own chocolate bar.
How are your friends? Are they doing well?
Yes, they're doing wonderful. Settling in rather nice, just doing our part for the war effort. Ha! And kind of does those, like, nobody can see me doing it because I don't have my camera on, but that little, like, the little, like, arm up to your shoulder, like, woohoo motion.
The sarcastic jazz hands?
Kind of, but, like, one's a closed fist and it's like, yeah!
Yeah, the little yeah.
Yeah!
That's good, I suppose. But again, just remember that you are all welcome here as you are, war effort or not. Have you given any thought to seeing either Dr. Hawthorne or Dr. McGuire?
Oh, no, no, they're so busy, and we're just research. Research is. They don't need to be bothered.
I suppose, but don't forget that you are all still human. It's still important that you. Well, let's just say my dad came home from the war and he wasn't the same, but doctors like Dr. Hawthorne and Dr. McGuire, they were instrumental in making sure that he was able to transition back to normality, really. I don't mean to force anything on you or your friends. I do worry. Well, the town seems uncertain of who you all are. Obviously, we're curious, but there are still those who worry that you being here is going to cause trouble. I don't mean to. I don't mean to be rude. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's quite all right. I'm sure if he would put them at ease, we can go visit. I'm sorry. You said come back to reality.
Well, I phrase things wrong sometimes, but kind of come back from that other world almost. That's how my dad used to say. It was like he was in another place at times, on the battlefield, in the throes of kill or be killed. Shell shock, as some called it.
Magnus Archives bullshit going on here.
Yeah, Katie just kind of tilts her head a little, and I'm sorry. Did he serve in the Great War? Is that what he felt like, or just?
Yes, he served. He was in France, kind of there at the end, in the trenches, is what he would tell us. Then when things got hard in the east, he came out this way, and we made our own. Town's really come up since then.
I see. And you said that the the doctors are in town.
Dr. McGuire keeps his surgery open most days. He's off on Sundays for, well, church. Dr. Hawthorne usually is available, only through the weekdays. Doesn't seem to care much for working the weekends, but so much for Berkeley psychology grads.
I see. Well, I'll let the others know, and I was supposed to get back and make dinner, so perhaps tomorrow we can help put the town at ease.
If we don't want to do something so grand, perhaps you can come to supper with me and my husband. We were planning on having a bigger dinner tomorrow, but the more mouths, the better. I'll do some steaks. I have some cuts that are either going to go bad in the next 2 days or going to get sold, and I don't think anybody's going to be coming for them anytime soon.
You know, that sounds delightful. I'm sure we'll come straight over after we check in with the doctors.
Oh, sounds good. That'll be $250.
Pay the money and scuttle out to the car that she borrowed and realized, oh no, I did the extrovert thing and pulled the introverts into a thing. Oops.
I was about to say, meanwhile, back at the manor, Victoria has not stopped staring at the pool for the past half hour.
As you're staring at this pool, it's just a pool, and you find yourself lost in the ripples here and there. It starts moving in front of you, back and forth, and then goes up to the sky, and you blink, and Mortimer's standing there beside you.
When'd you get there?
I've been here for a while. Are you, okay?
Yes, I was just lost in thought. Kind of spaced out there for a minute. Pulls her feet up out of the water and stands up.
Well, considering everything that's happened, I can't blame you. Whew.
This all still doesn't feel entirely real, even though I know it is, and just starting to settle back into whatever the new normal's going to be. Also, the weather's nice and it just feels good to be outside.
Well, that's, something I been thinking I definitely want to ensure that not only us, but everyone gets to enjoy days like this, the sun, because I have no idea if we'll be able to enjoy days like this going forward with what we're going up against.
I don't think so either. This time's limited. I think that's why I'm trying to enjoy it while I can.
But that's the thing, Miss Victoria. I don't want us to, even though we don't know if this most likely is going to be the rest of our lives fighting against those that go bump in the night. But we don't have to let them have a little victory knowing that they have taken the last part of our humanity, our happiness, away from us. Remember, we have to make time just for those little things. How about you and Miss Katie go out and have a date? Remember, even if just for a little bit, you are human, Miss Victoria, and you are entitled to just be selfish every now and then and have at least a day to yourself.
That does sound like a wonderful idea. Now that you mention it, I do seem to remember the girl in the diner seemed to be quite interested in you if you'd like to take a day to enjoy yourself as well.
Oh, yes, I was already well ahead of you on that one. Mortimer's just turning red, and I was going to be heading back to that diner and see if I could hope maybe my own luck will be keep going, and let you and Miss Katie have the home to yourselves, and you two deserve a night to yourselves. So Mortimer just cracks his neck and everything. Is like, I'll remember to knock before coming in later. Have a good rest of your day, Miss Victoria.
Of course, of course. Just don't stay out too late, alright? Victoria's just smiling, knowing that Mortimer's like, yeah, I'll just give you some privacy. And she's like, yeah, Katie and I, we figured stuff out even when he was there. It's fine. He doesn't need to know about that.
Katie, you return to the house, and you find Mortimer and Katie, Mortimer and Victoria in the pool room.
And Mortimer's blushing.
Victoria, love, did you give him the talk? I thought that was something his father would have done.
No, Miss Katie, we were actually just actually talking about you and my own plans for tonight, because I'm going to be stepping out for a bit. I thought you two could use some privacy.
He's finally going to ask out the girl at the diner.
Both of you would see that Katie kind of does the blue screen error 404 face for a second, and then goes into, oh, he has a date, scheming, and will kind of titter off to the garden and pick a couple roses and come back with them and hand them over. It's always good form to show up with a gift.
As you pick those roses, give me a D100 roll.
40?
Okay. Continue.
Okay. Thanks, ominous voice in the sky.
You know what? Thank you. This will go rather well with the outfit I was going to go with for tonight. So I'm actually going to go upstairs and get changed now, and before I leave, I'll make sure to bid you both adieu. And there's a bottle of wine waiting for you in the living room and in the kitchen.
Good. On the subject of drinking, don't drink too much. The nice woman at the general store invited all of us to dinner tomorrow after we go and meet the town psychologist and doctor. Surprise! Now she does the awkward jazz hands.
Victoria's just kind of side-eyeing a little bit. And why exactly are we going to do that?
She will set down the bags and hand over one of the cokes. Apparently, we frighten, and there's air quotes, the locals, and the doctors apparently have been wonderful at pulling people back from another world.
As a DM, that might have not been the best phrasing.
Listen, we're gonna run with it in character.
Yeah. Victoria's just slightly blank stare at you, but she's not protesting. It's more like she's processing that. You sure it wouldn't be better for us to just stay out of their way so they don't have to worry?
Apparently, we're more worrying if we don't engage with the local inhabitants. So, at least this way, we've done our due diligence and they'll never bother us again?
Unless they decide to keep us and put us in a petting zoo.
Gestures to the mansion and the guards outside of it.
Fair point, fair point. If you think it's a good idea, I agree. I'll do it. I make no promises on telling the doctor the truth, but I'll cooperate. Victoria's never talked about any of her stuff with anyone outside of Katie and Mortimer, and she has no intention of changing that.
I'm not saying that we all have to, how did the Yanks put it, spill our guts, but it never hurts to see what they know, and even if it doesn't work out, it's one lead investigated.
Shrugs. Looks at Mortimer.
Well, actually, I was going to talk to you two about that because, well, I actually, you two don't know this, but I am actually pansexual, so I've actually dealt with my fair share of, let's just say, looks like I, indeed am from another world myself, and, well, I would actually like you two to come back with me to Colorado, to Denver, because it is a great community for people like us. And above board, in the 1950s, Denver, Colorado actually was the best community for the LGBT.
Victoria's nodding a little bit more enthusiastically
Love
at this.
I don't mind. That sounds wonderful, actually.
Yes, I would love to, of course, introduce you to my mentor and to a few of my friends. One of them is actually a collector of Miss Molly Brown's memorabilia. You know, the survivor from the Titanic. He's shown me a lot of her, and she was a big activist, and she was actually one of my heroes, and that's honestly why I am the way I am, is because of her story. But now, Miss Victoria, I don't think you should be worried about however they feel at the end of the day. They are still a person of medicine and psychology, and they're just there to help you.
Victoria did briefly, when you mentioned mentor, part of her brain checked out and remembered Deckard and went down that whole rabbit hole, but she did eventually kind of wander her way back.
Oh, that actually just reminded me. Mortimer goes, you know what, actually, Miss Victoria, he runs upstairs real quick, and he comes back down. There was something that my favorite teacher gave me. I do believe you know him, is Mr. Kane, Mr. Deckard.
Lazarus, not Kane.
Mr. Lazarus, and I do believe you could use with a little bit of the luck that this has given me. And he hands you, just looks like a little trinket that's been hand carved. I've had it through some very hard times, and it's helped me get through a lot. So, I think you need it next.
She takes it. In her mind's eye, we see the image of Deckard in the tree. But she does take it and tries to push that back into the box that it came out of. I think it's time for normal. Boring, normal.
Exactly. Well, that's the other thing, Miss Victoria, is who says normal has to be boring? That's when Mortimer will run upstairs, put on his suit for the night, and when he comes back down, he's wearing a zoot suit that's a green zoot suit with blue pinstripes, one of those very wide-brimmed hats with a blue feather, and goes, "Now, if you two don't mind, I'm going to do, as the lingo is nowadays, go a-courting. Have a good evening."
Our baby boy's all grown up.
I think Katie will kind of come over and put an arm around Victoria and just wave Mortimer off, but yell, "Do not make us grandmothers, we're too young."
No promises.
If you do anything stupid, just make sure you don't get caught.
That one I will assure I will not. I promise I won't.
All right.
And Mortimer closes the door.
Victoria leans into Katie a little bit and just... They grow up so fast, don't they?